Welcome to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast, where we share tips, techniques, and true stories to support you in using the law of attraction and alchemy to create magic and live the life of your dreams. Here's your host, the founder of DailyAlchemy.com, Michelle Martin Dobbins.
Hi there, it's Michelle Martin Dobbins from DailyAlchemy.com, and today I want to talk to you about a saying that you may hear, it's all good, and you're thinking, no, it's not all good. And I found it a very interesting situation in my life that reminded me that, it really is all good. And I'll come back to a little bit on how to make things all good for you, but I want to share the story first. My grandfather is 93 years old, and he is a spunky old guy. And he lived on his own until just about, not even 2 years ago, I don't think. And he started needing more help. He's on the least amount of medications of most 93-year-olds that you would know. He takes drops for his glaucoma. And that's really about it, some stomach stuff. But he doesn't see real well, and he has a bad knee. So my parents were worried about him falling, and he needed extra help with things because he doesn't see real well because of his glaucoma. So they moved him closer into actually a trailer in their backyard, which was working out lovely. But he got sick a few months ago and went into the hospital and had to have a surgery, which made him a little weak. And so he was going to go to a nursing home for rehab. And this is where the story kind of comes in for me, because it's thinking about everything being good, because my grandfather has one major fear. One fear that I have heard about since I was probably 8 or 9 years old. He did not want to go into a nursing home. That ain't gonna happen, okay? I will spend every last bit of my money in savings to have someone come in my house and take care of me, because I am not going in one of those horrible places. I cannot tell you how many times we've heard, and I've always been you do what you want to do, you spend all that money. I'm not looking for money from you, Grandpa, but it was just been a really strong fear and worry of his, and to him, that would be the worst thing in the world if you asked him. So when we found out, his strength was low, and he was not going to be able to walk well enough to be safe at home. And he's a big guy, over 6 foot, over 200 pounds, big guy. So, we had to be kind of kid gloves with him. You're going to be in the nursing home for 30 days, doing some rehab, doing some physical therapy, getting your strength up. Wasn't happy. In fact, when he got there, he wasn't getting out of the ambulance. Yep. They're come on, Martin family, you got to go talk to him, because he is not getting out. He is not coming here. And what do you think happened? I'm going to tell you what happened. He loved it there. He stinking loved it there. He likes having someone bring him his food. Not that, my parents fixed it for him and he had someone who came in and helped with things. But he loves being able to push that button and say, I need this. The nurses there will probably tell you that he loves it a little too much. But he's this is a fine place for me. When his 30 days were up, he didn't really want to leave. So he spent years, people, I'm telling you years, at least 30 years, worrying about something that when it happened, and it wasn't even happening in a bad way. Nobody said you have to stay here forever. You have to stay here 30 days. When it happened, he liked it. He enjoyed it. Yeah, do you think, is there anything in your life that you're if this happens, it will be the end of my world? You might want to rethink it, because it might not be exactly what you think. So that kind of made me think, about this thing, everything in life is good. So I do want to tell you that, right now, you don't know. You have something that you're fearing. It might not be good, right, in your mind. So how do you kind of shift and stop worrying about that? I will tell you, one of the things that I've done is I've worked really hard on, and by hard work, I mean I've just focused, on trying to be more meta-aware or metacognitive and thinking outside my brain and outside myself. And what I mean by that is like things sometimes happen and part of me gets angry. And I'll be honest, sometimes I'm only focused on that part of that's angry. And, when you get angry, when you get fearful, when you get worried, there's always that part of you, that higher self, that, different conscious level who thinks that it's all good. You're angry and they're like, oh, that's a cool sensation. Oh, that's interesting. They're having a fit. It's all good. The trick is to focus on the outside of yourself and to focus on that part of you that's not worried about it, that thinks that it is all good. And it's a practice. It's definitely a practice. And first, just becoming aware that that's a possibility is a great place to start. Because a lot of times we don't even realize and we don't even think about the fact that we don't have to get sucked up into all these emotions. And I've found myself that sometimes I'm sitting here and I'm being angry and I'm fussing about something. And then I start thinking about this, the other part of me takes over and is like, that's really interesting. She's really ticked off about that. And somehow it seems like all those emotions dissipate. But I've thought about it because, some people tell me they want to be happy all the time. But I feel like without the contrast and without those times of getting angry or getting sad, I really like that. I mean, I know that might sound weird, but when you know that you're not trapped in it forever and it's just a part and a process of the richness of life, and when you can kind of step back and think beyond, and I don't do this 100%. Okay, probably more like 50%. But it adds richness and depth to life to experience all the emotions, and they're all there for good. I know, sometimes there are things that are painful and scary in life, but I just believe that it's all there for our good, and that if we can enjoy the ride as much as possible, be present as much as possible, and focus on that part of ourselves that thinks that everything is okay. And then just enjoy the experience. So that's a little deep, I know. And but I would encourage you to play with the thought that everything really is okay and everything really is all good. And give yourself just that awareness of another part of you and think outside of yourself a little bit. Just play with it and see how it works for you. All right, have a magical day, and I will talk to you next time. Namaste.
Thanks for listening to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. Connect with me on thedailyalchemy.com or Facebook at facebook.com/Michelle Dobbins, author. Join us next time for even more magical life tips.